Hey guys, it's Flipping Genius Finds, and today I will be going over some of the higher dollar items that I sold for the month of April. This is going to be $50 and over. This is an antique Meissen porcelain plate, cobalt blue, love couple. Read the description. I actually think the edges of this may have been repaired just because it's not clean on the side, like right here. But you can see it's hand painted. This went to an international buyer. You can see right here, it has a little bit of like a chipping, or like it may have been shaved off on the side. It was listed for $219.95. I took an offer on it for $88, and it did take about 9 months to sell. This is the Bear Bits Amy by Jean and Bill Ashburner, limited edition, 2 of 5. This is the Bear Bits Amy by Jean and Bill Ashburner, limited edition, 2 of 5. This was listed for $149.99. I did take an offer on it for $88. It did take about a year and 4 months to sell. A pair of antique white ironstone porcelain oyster plates, 6 wells. This was listed for $209.99, and I took an offer on it for $120. It did take about 10 months to sell. So this is the Blue Moon Legends 2014 strategy board game, Fantasy Flight Games Cosmos, complete in box. It was listed for $124.99. I did take an offer on it for $70. It did take about 4 months to sell. You can see the corner has some wear. It does take quite a bit of time to check all the cards to see if all the pieces are there. This is the pink opaline Bristol glass lidded crown topper, powder vanity jar, hand painted. And I believe this is an antique. It was listed for $199.99. I did take an offer on it for $75, and it did take about a month to sell. Now you can see that it is kind of like faded and has some dirt or like a grime, it looks like. You can see the gold is faded. It was listed for $299.99. It did take about 6 months to sell, and it was on a 25% off discount and sold for $224.99. This is the Scotty Cameron 2019 Skeledog head cover. It was listed for $279.99. I did take an offer on it for $150. It did take about 4 months to sell, and I did receive a positive feedback on this one. It was in like new condition. I only think that the seal was off, the plastic wrapping, but the condition on it, when I took a look at it, it did look new. But because it didn't have its cover, like the plastic seal cover, I did put used in very good condition. And Scotty Cameron is like a big name when it comes to golf items. This is the Heron Apogee Chinese bouquet green white dessert bread plates, 6 inches. It was listed for $79.99. And I did take an offer on it for $55. I did receive a positive feedback on this one. Heron, they're hand painted. They're very beautiful plates. You can see the back mark right here. This is the Mary Gregory Victorian Blue Opalescent Oil Lamp, signed Pat Whitman, 11.5 inches tall. It was listed for $249.99. I did take an offer on it for $149.99. This did take about a year to sell. You can see the Pat Whitman signature. It was missing the top of the lamp, only the bottom half. The actual shade was not available. This is the Kirk's Folly Fairy Butterfly Flower Enamel Swarovski Crystal Table Clock. It was listed for $199.99. And I did take an offer on it for $100, and it did take about a month to sell. The story on this is that it was lost in the mail. I mean, it was shown as delivered, but the buyer, did message me and say that the item was missing, that they didn't receive it. So they did do a GPS tracking on the item, and eventually it was found, and the buyer did receive the item. But the process took about a week and a half to finally get resolved. You can see the Swarovski crystals, and right there. And then where is the mark? The mark is somewhere right here. You can see the Kirk's Folly mark right here. This is the Heron Rachel Blue Clover bread and butter plate, 6 inches. It was listed for $79.99. And I did take an offer on it for $68. It did take about 6 months to sell. You can see again, Heron is all hand painted. You can see the blue clovers. This is the Lotus ceramic chip and dip bowl, 12 inches. Après Ski Lodge hot tub design, vintage, 1995. It was listed for $119.99, and it was sold to an international buyer for the full asking price of $119.99. And it did take about 5 months to sell. You can see there is some chipping right here, a little bit of chipping right here. This is the Heron Hungary Queen Victoria salad plate, 7.5 inches. It was listed for $179.99. I did take an offer on it for $125. It did take about 5 months to sell. These are all hand painted. You can see the lovely butterflies. This is the Mizuno MZC 35-inch softball catcher's mitt, right-handed throw. It was listed for $99.99. I did take an offer on it for $59.99. It did take about 11 months to sell. You can see it's a little bit dirty, not in the best. I mean, it is in good condition, but it's just dirty. I guess they call it well used. A little bit of the leather strap is missing right here. You can see the MZC 25, United States. This is the vintage Blenko glass 384 double spouted teal green water jug, signed Richard Blenko. It was listed for $99.95, and it was on a 35% off discount and sold for $64.97. It did take about a year and 10 months to sell. It is also signed Richard Blenko 2000. This is the Tiffany & Co. rectangle leather travel jewelry case. It was listed for $379.99. I did take an offer on it for $303.99. I did receive a positive feedback on this one, and it did take about a month to sell. This is the Sizzix Big Shot 660200 manual die cutting and embossing machine in excellent condition. I think this was like an open box. It was listed for $79.99. I did get the full asking price of $79.99. It did take about a month to sell. This is a rare Baltimore Rose antique Haviland France Limoges Schlager plate circa 1876 to 1931. It was listed for $299.99. I had several of these plates before. This has been going to the same buyer, although I could have probably gotten a little bit more from the buyer. It was a repeat buyer, and she has been buying the same plate from me for a while, and that's why I decided to just let it go for $125. But it did take about 2 days to sell. As soon as it was listed, the buyer did notice it, and then they did send me an offer for $125, which I did take. But you can see these are an antique, and you can see the gold, and a lot of the it doesn't have too much of a condition issue because, again, it is an antique, you know, but again, the middle of the medallion did have a little bit of gold wear issue, and that's why I took the lower offer. You can see right here on the side, it does have some missing gold. This is the vintage Persian lady dancing oil lamp leather scroll, 9.2 by 13.5 inches. This was listed for $129.95. I did take an offer on it for $60. It did take about a year and 10 months to sell. It does appear to be hand painted, and it does have a signature right here that I don't know. This is the Navio Escola Sagres Topazio Porcelain France bottled, limited to 500, edition number 153. It was listed for $89.95. I did take an offer on it for $50. It did take about a year and 8 months to sell. You can see there is like a clipper ship. I guess this is the ship's name, Navio Escola Sagres. And then it's limited to 153 by 500. This is a Le Creuset Cherise. This is a Le Creuset Cherise. This is a Le Creuset. This is a Le Creuset Cherise. Red stoneware, medium 4-quart canister storage jar with lid. It was listed for $79.99. And I did take an offer on it for $70. It did take about 4 months to sell. It does have a little bit of a paint chipping right here. This is the English Victorian green leaf majolica. This is the English Victorian green leaf majolica plate, circa 1900, 8-inch plate. It was listed for $79.99. And I did get the full asking price of $79.99. It did take a year and 6 months to sell. You can see there is a little bit of chipping right here. This is the St. John Home Collection King of Hearts cocktail martini glass poker barware. It was listed for $119.95. I did take an offer on it for $60. It did take about a year and 10 months to sell. You can see the King of Hearts. If you've enjoyed this video and found it informative, go ahead and give it a like, subscribe, things like that. And I'll see you guys next time.